Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Shared Universe Podcast Studio. My name is Ming Chen. We are actually in the midst of the Super Jersey Comic Expo, and I got my man here, Anthony Snyder from Anthony's Comic Book Art,
Yes.
here all the way from North Jersey. And you're like, hey, let's do something. I'm coming
Yeah,
down.
let's do something. Let's talk about business.
Let's talk business.
Yeah.
Meaning comic business, not monkey business.
Yeah, the business of comic books.
Business of comic books,
Right?
of which you know much about.
Well, I as a guy that's been in the business for 30 years now,
The premier original comic art dealer in the world. In my
I have the
opinion.
largest art website by volume.
Okay.
I mean, so there's a couple guys that have they only have just really valuable stuff. But along the way, I've tried to cater towards the budget collector, the everyday collector. You know, I was willing to carry stuff, for back when there were $20 pages, I was willing to carry $20 pages. Now I'm willing to carry $50, $100 things. And I've done deals like with 10,000 color guides and from colorists. You know, I was just talking to Bob Sharon out there, a colorist. And, hey, you got any color guides from actual comic books? And he goes, oh, no, I haven't had those since the late 90s. And that's when that whole, coloring digital changeover happened.
Yes.
And for me as a photographer back in that day, that's when it happened for me, too. I was a film guy that I did film jobs for the ad agencies. But then when it became a digital situation, everything transitioned to digital.
Yeah.
And that was that early 2000s, too.
Yeah. In that website you speak of, anthony'scomicbookart.com,
Yep.
correct?
Oh
Let's put that
my
up on the
God.
screen right there, anthony'scomicbookart.com. Look at that. We got that right up
look
there.
at those graphics.
Yeah, you got to check that
Yay.
out for sure.
So, we've known each other a long time, and I
Oh,
always
10
talk to
years
you.
now. And you're a Comic Book Man alumni, as seen on TV.
Yeah,
you're on
as seen
twice, is that correct?
2.5 times, really.
What's the half?
Well, when they did that, they wanted me to come in and buy all that stuff, all the Esposito stuff at the Bodner's auction.
Yeah, we did an auction where
And-
for the Mike Esposito collection.
And at that moment, this agent had basically, I had signed with an agent, and she was trying to sell me for my own reality show.
So you couldn't be.
So she's like, "Oh no, you don't want to
can't.
be on it."
Yeah, you don't want to be on that. You don't want to be on Comic Book Man.
Why?
They'll ruin your career, man. They're bad for your image, maybe.
Yeah, and needless to say, that didn't work out with that agent.
Yeah.
So I have a different producer trying to sell me right now as a transactional reality show because I think it's a genre that is underserved.
I agree.
They have these long-running juggernauts that is Pawn Stars and that is
Sure.
the
Antiques
other one.
Roadshow. Or
No, that's not transactional. That's appraisal. So that's different.
Oh, okay.
The Mike Wolf. The guys that wander around and buy the same stuff every day.
Hardcore Pawn. You watched that one? The one
did from Detroit.
Yeah. The one they just yell at each other.
That was not attractive. That wasn't you talk about a shared universe. It's like that wasn't a universe I wanted to share.
It was entertaining.
If you like that kind of bend your neck, neck benders,
Sure. They got into a lot of fights.
Rubbernecking card trash.
They yelled a lot.
They
yelled a lot.
Car wreck.
Car wreck.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guys that wander around and buy signs and parts of engines and come on, people are more interested in the pop culture.
Yeah, I agree.
And Pawn Stars will do these. They actually had to get out of the store or their set that they call a store. There's the store, and then they have a set that's like a store, I think, because they're never actually in there.
Nope.
Because I've gone in there to try to talk to him about selling him some of my dad's stuff.
Yeah.
The Jimmy the Greek stuff, because he says he
Your dad, Jimmy the Greek,
is about vintage Las Vegas stuff. And my dad was Mr. Las Vegas from the 50s through the 70s. So that was, something I wanted to talk to him about. But I actually did give some stuff to Heritage, and they did sell some stuff. What did well was the football jerseys and basketball jerseys.
Sure.
I had as mementos from when I was a kid.
Yeah. Did you keep any of the sports memorabilia? Because I'm into that as well.
No,
the comic book
I
stuff.
sold that during the lockdown. I figured I needed some more revenue, and
Yeah.
it generated some revenue for me at the time where I thought I was getting hurt by not doing the shows.
Sure.
So I missed 2 San Diegos, and
Yep.
there's
One New York, one a lot of shows actually.
Yeah,
One
there was
C2E2. No, actually that one happened. But
And when when I do 6 figures in a San Diego or do 6 figures in a New York, and that you just take that out of the equation,
Sure.
that
a
bottom
lot.
it affects the bottom line. Now we're doing shows in if you want to talk about the business,
I do.
we're doing shows in a downward trending market and a downward trending economy, which is a double whammy. But these show promoters, San Diego Comic-Con, they still want their, I have 5 booths there, and I pay $15,000 for those booths just to walk in the door.
Yeah.
I had 4 booths in New York, and that was $10,000 just to walk in the door.
Right.
They still want to get paid. They think they're still providing us this service to let a bunch of cosplayers walk around and not spend money.
But you do. I mean, we just got back from New York Comic Con. That was 2 weeks ago. How did it go? How's it trending?
Well, like I said, it was definitely not as strong as others have been. The big buyers, they kind of take care of themselves with the auctions and stuff like that, and that's why the auctions are still just pumping them out. They think, for me, it's an issue that I've tried to take issue with some of the auction houses. It's like that I talk to, that I'm conversational with. It's like, you used to do one every season. Now you do one every 2 weeks. And the other place is doing one every 2 weeks. And then the other place is doing it every 2
too
weeks.
much?
So there's one
Saturated?
going off every week.
Right.
And with every sale of say my favorite comic book ever, Giant Size X-Men 1, it's not going up, it's going down.
Right.
It's like, so they're actually they're putting pressure on a downward market by supply.
Right.
I did take some economics classes in college.
Okay.
So you got some
supply, demand. Okay.
You got some macroeconomics
Okay.
going
Supply
on
side
here.
economics, ladies and gentlemen.
It's supply side economics.
Yeah.
It's like when I can go back 30 years to like 1994, a G.I. Joe, 30th anniversary of G.I. Joe. And then you'd go to a G.I. Joe show, and a painted-headed naked figure was $100.
Yeah.
Now that's probably $200 today.
Right.
Now you can get them online for $30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of eBay, and the perception is they're not as rare as you think. You can buy them every day. And when you can buy something every day instead of once a month or once a season, the perception of the availability and the rarity is dissolved.
Yeah. That.
There's no more.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's actually what New York did for me too. Is gave me the worst sinus infection I've ever had.
Well,
that
hey,
bacterial infection in my face.
Excuse me.
That I was in such pain in my face. Right, my face hurt so bad. I went to the dentist because I thought I had a cracked tooth or something, and
what was the diagnosis?
I had a sinus infection.
Oh, sinus infection. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't find anything. They didn't find a cracked tooth.
Right.
I went to the doctor the next day, and he put me on penicillin. So I'm just getting over that from New York Comic Con. So, not having mask mandates in these crowds and them letting everybody in again.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think we're going back to masks anytime soon.
Yeah,
so,
well,
yeah, and as I saw, New York was pretty crowded. I felt
it was very crowded.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
but were people spending? You were saying no. Well, and you know firsthand
well, for my
because I know I spent. I know I spent, but
okay,
I bought.
well, what'd you buy? You bought pops.
I bought Funko Pops. I bought a lightsaber. I bought a Hasbro Force Effects Dark Saber that I
Okay,
wanted
but the
for a while.
lightsabers, they're getting better all the time.
Sure.
They're getting cooler all the time.
Oh,
So if you get the latest in technology of lightsabers that you can actually have a light up and whack, have a fight with it,
Yeah.
it's not going to break. You know, like 10 years ago, they weren't that sturdy. You know, now it's like you can actually, they're cool because my oldest son's into Star Wars, so I look at that stuff for him.
Yeah, I bought a few prints. Got an autograph from John Carpenter on a They Live poster. So yeah, this is pretty
that's
cool
nice.
stuff. But
You like horror movies?
I like John Carpenter horror movies.
Okay.
Yeah, not all horror movies.
Yeah,
I'm
my producer that was there at the show went to go talk to him. He actually knows him, the producer that's trying to sell my reality show. He likes John Carpenter as well.
Yeah. Well, somebody we both know had a huge original art auction, which you consulted on. Kevin Smith sold most of his original art collection, and he had a pretty good collection. I mean, he's got so much stuff I don't even remember. I know he had one Frank Miller Daredevil
Yeah,
page.
the Frank Miller Daredevil page
And-
I actually made an offer on.
Oh wow, yeah. It was so funny. That page was in my office for years. I think I'd found it sitting in a hallway.
Yeah, it was in a hallway. And when Mike called me into,
Yeah.
he called me and said, "Hey, Kevin would like you to help do estimates on the art that we have here." And I'm like, there's this frame hanging up in a dark hallway. And I'm like, Mike, I would pay you $50,000 for this page right now.
Yes.
I
it
paid
had
Kevin.
Bullseye
And
on
was
it.
just
Had
like,
Daredevil. It was
yeah,
it was a great
bullseye
page.
Daredevil bullseye action page.
Yeah.
I think what did it go for 65?
I think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know he had a lot of original. I think the Green Arrow covers.
Well, yeah, that he wrote.
Yep. That
He wrote those issues.
Yep.
So
he
I
got-
wrote those up as Kevin Smith, original author and this is the covers, the painted covers by
Was it Matt Wagner?
Matt Wagner.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt Wagner.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought those. I don't know how those did. I thought those should be worth between $5,000 and $10,000 each.
Yeah. Easily.
Because Kevin Smith wrote them, and they were owned by him. And here's the COA saying this is from my collection.
Right. It touched his air. He breathed
Well-
on them. His aura was within that artwork. That means a little bit something,
Well,
right?
I mean, he's a famous filmmaker,
Yeah.
and whether you're a fan or not, I mean, he's very associated with the comic book business, and he wrote and produced comics. And had the comic book store. I mean, what was the first thing he did when he made some money with Clerks?
Bought a comic book shop.
He opened a comic book store.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's cool. I mean, as a guy who has the love in his heart, that did other things. I was a photographer and a producer for advertising in New York. With all the big agencies, did big campaigns, but I was doing this as a side hustle. And then when 9/11 happened, it kind of ruined the business. So I just put more and more time into this as I could make this grow.
Right.
And I couldn't help the advertising industry as a whole.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
not one man. You're just one man.
I was powerless with that, and I was an assignment advertising guy. So either I was working that month and making $50,000 on Paxil or some other kind of pharmaceutical or job or cigarette job. I worked on tobacco for 3 years, and that paid the bills, or I wasn't. And when I wasn't working, it was hard on me because I'm not good at doing nothing.
Right. I don't think I've ever
I'm
seen
one of
you-
those people.
I've never seen you sit there and do nothing.
No,
So
I want to work. I want to work every day. I work 7 days a week. If
Yeah.
I'm not doing something, I'm not easy to live with. I mean, my wife would be like, you should go to work for a few hours and come back, just to get
clear
some
your head.
stuff done. Yeah.
Right.
No, just to calm down on a daily basis. I have a drive in me and that's how I've built my comic book and art business over the past, well, let's say after 9/11. So, in the past 20 years of really trying to build it into a national brand.
yeah.
And, with this show, this is a
What is this you're
store
holding here?
exclusive. Well, the Dueling Dealers of Comic Book Art. That's a streaming show we do every Wednesday.
Okay, check
where
that out.
Yeah, where we structure it like a prize fight. It's between me and the other comic art seller that has inventory. There's only two of us that could have done 140 shows, and we've done 140 shows now. This was a 100th anniversary episode, but we've done 100 shows, where we debut. I like to call them, curated debuts.
Debut.
Yeah, we debut them.
Debut.
Curated debuts of original art that has come into our business. The past couple weeks, we've been dealing with a lot of stuff that we picked up at New York Comic Con, and that's new to our business. And then we offer them on the show, and the viewers that we get. And we get up to 300 viewers.
Yes.
We get up to 300
Right,
live
concurrently,
viewers
yes.
on a
That's
claim
amazing.
show.
Yes.
Now, you're in this business.
That's a lot.
You know
It's a
that's
lot.
not easy.
It's a lot.
I mean,
good.
usually, but successful people are getting like 60, 70 people, it's
Sure.
like that are having buyers. But these are, we do funny memes, and we pre-record stuff that Bill Cox, the owner of Comic Art Fans, he produces, and we try to be entertaining as well and funny. So it's entertainment, and we hope you spend some money. If you like the stuff that we're offering.
Yeah. Check it out live every Wednesday. What time?
9 o'clock Eastern on Bill Cox's Comic Art Live YouTube channel.
Okay. Bill Cox's Comic Book Art Live.
No, Bill Cox's Comic Art Live YouTube channel.
Okay,
Comic
got
Art
it.
Live.
Comic Art Live.
So Bill has a big virtual con coming up. Not this weekend, but next weekend,
Okay.
like the 10th and 11th. And I usually do a Sunday opening show where I'll do an hour on Sunday to open the show.
Yeah.
And then he'll do panels. Like he'll have A-list artists. Like I know he's had Adam Hughes and other artists like that. I don't know if he has all the panels organized yet, but I'll do an hour-long panel on from my warehouse, and people can tune in, and I'll offer new stuff. And then if you have an offer to make on something existing on the website, I entertain offers, and we usually do some business and have some fun. And my friend Chris Palmerini, who's a professional musician, will come in and do a song with Sharon.
Oh, cool.
I did
Your-
a couple
yeah, your wife,
songs.
Sharon, your wife.
Yeah, but Sharon can actually sing. Sharon, this is Sharon right here flying in with the cake.
Yes.
She's a
Cupcakes on her head.
Yeah, she's
Where do we get this? Is this available, this book?
this book. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have them.
You have
I give
them.
them away with orders. So if you order something on Anthony'sComicBookArt.com and it's over $100, we send you one. I'll
Okay.
send you a signed one.
Amazing. And how important is social media to what you do now? I know you've embraced it full-heartedly.
Yeah,
I don't know if you resisted at first or you had to figure it out, but you've
I always see. I'm an advertising guy.
Good
That was
point.
my career.
Yes.
So as far as anything, and then my dad was a PR guy.
Yes.
So about promotions and advertising and getting the word out there, I've always had that in forefront of my mind. So as far as getting the word out there of new material or garnering followers
Yep.
and stuff like that, I'm all about that. I really love Instagram.
Instagram's great.
I that's the one that I've most kind of fell in sync with and able to do something on a daily basis
Yeah.
on. And then I have that hooked up. That's Anthony's Comic Book Art on Instagram.
Yes.
And I only, I don't do any of those things where, oh, you want 10,000 followers? We'll get you 10,000 followers. I don't have any, there's no fake followers. I have like 3,000 people that follow me on Instagram, but they're all customers. And that's the way I want to keep it. It's like, it's very organic. You have to follow me. I'm not going to follow 15,000 people and then say, follow me back. I don't follow anybody. Hardly at all.
Yeah, you're very active on there, posting clips.
Yeah.
And a
And
lot of stuff.
new material, previews for Dueling Dealers. I did with Scott Hanna just now. I did a little snippet. We did 4 or 5 minutes. At New York Comic Con, I talked to Chris Claremont for 10 minutes. I talked to Al Milgram for 10 minutes. Who else? A few other guys like that. Well, there aren't there aren't guys like that as far as Chris Claremont's concerned.
No,
but
he's one of a kind.
that's the guy who changed comics forever and for us.
Yeah.
But I like to post some content about creators like that, and I enjoy it. I enjoy doing that. And if some people say no, and that's fine. You don't want to be on, and then if I convince you, they don't regret it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's all about just promoting what they're doing at the time, and letting them talk.
Yeah. So what do you have lined up for 2024? Are you doing more shows? Are you doing the same amount? The shows are back. If they're talking about the state of the Comic Cons, I think I'm about to hit 30 this year, which is a lot, even for me.
Well, that's awesome, but you're getting picked up, to go to these cons.
Yeah, you have to buy a booth and hustle.
A couple shows actually do comp me in because they want my kind of merchandise at their show that I take care of a whole category for them. That I have a great range of material and a great range of prices that can appeal to all kinds of budgets.
Yeah.
I do have 6-figure pieces, but I also have $20 things.
Right.
So
yeah, I got one right in the middle. I'm a proud owner of a Walking Dead page from I think issue 79, page 19.
I hooked you up with that.
You did, yes. Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I really wanted a piece.
Did I give it to you?
Well, I earned it. I helped you set up a podcast.
Oh, do I owe you another page for this?
No. I'm very proud of that page. I really wanted a page with Glenn on it.
Yeah, it had Glenn on it. Yeah,
one of my favorite characters in comics. And yeah.
Oh, did you read the comic?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All the way through?
Not all the way through. I never actually. When he got killed in issue 100,
I
stopped reading for a while. Yeah, because I didn't agree with the decision to kill him off.
Oh well,
and later on,
wholeheartedly agree with you. I thought it was
a heart and soul of the comic, and later on, Robert Kirkman did confirm, like, maybe we shouldn't have killed him.
Then why didn't he learn that lesson with the TV show? Because they lost a third of their audience after that episode.
And they killed 2 beloved characters. So,
they lost all the rednecks and all the Asian guys.
Right, exactly.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
And that was the last episode that I watched.
Live. Like when it aired?
Yeah, habitually or whatever. I was following the show. I felt like it was my duty as a professional to know what was going on in this property. And I was constantly looking for stuff for Kirkman because I had his want list. And I would sell him art based on his want list. And when I remember my whole family sitting there watching Negan pound out Glenn's head, and that was it.
Yeah,
we never watched another episode.
Yeah, it was
ever.
Hard. It was hard to watch.
Now, if you're a student of this property, how is it that Maggie and Negan are together?
I didn't make it that far, so I have no idea.
Well, they're on a show together.
Yeah,
right?
they are. Yes. Yeah, Land of the Dead or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't.
They come to New York, don't they?
They come to New York. Yes, and Daryl's in Paris. Somehow.
And Daryl, how did Daryl get?
I don't know. They don't. From what I understand, they don't really explain.
He sprouted wings off his Harley
vest.
jacket,
and he went to Paris.
And he flew to Paris.
Yeah, and now it's been revealed that Carol's going to join him out there for season 2.
Oh,
so
Carol.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah, Carol, cool. Yeah, but.
Yeah, she was a good character. She was solid.
Yeah, but I am a proud owner of an original art piece with Glenn.
With Glenn, yeah. Before he got his brains bashed in by Negan.
Yeah, and I mean you've got quite a few Walking Dead pieces still.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
I mean the franchise is kind of dwindling, I would say, as far as fan following and interest in the material.
Yeah, and with everything kind of moving digital, not 100%, but there are a lot of people drawing digitally, so you don't really get that pencil and paper anymore. Or, I've met some artists who start on pencil and paper, but then they scan it in and they finish it off digitally.
Yeah, different artists have their different process,
Yeah.
and you kind of have to roll with it in this day and age.
Right.
If somebody's going to... but I had to deal with this 15 years ago because I was repping Alex Malev. And Alex Malev was the first guy that actually adopted the digital format into comics with his run with Bendis on Daredevil. And now I was begging him, oh please, Alex, do the covers at least in
Yes,
art,
yeah.
because I could sell the covers at
Yeah.
the time 15 years ago for 3, 4, 5,000,
Yeah.
which was good money.
Oh yeah.
That's
Still
like
is.
10,000
Still
today,
is.
right? So he he was from Bulgaria. He was a classically trained artist in his state, the National Institute of Art. But he was actually very adept in his computer, and he had the best computer. It was like this big. It was like a Mac tower, man, and the processing power he had. And he would go around, take pictures, and then draw things, scan them in, and make his comic books that way. And it was a lifestyle choice for him. He said he could do a book in a week or so, 10 days, instead of a month. So I had no Daredevil pages to sell. And it kind of, ate at our relationship to a point where, we didn't have one. So now it's like all these people are kind of catching up as the technology has become easier and easier and easier. And they can draw right in on their tablets. They can draw their page.
Well, it's nice to have an undo button, as opposed to if you're inking a page and you go off the line.
They can draw it in, and they can ink it. They can do the blacks.
Yep. Different strokes.
Inking was always about doing the blacks. The inker, like having the most prolific inker that ever lived, Scott Hanna out there. He's done more pages than anybody is putting in the blacks. So then they make a stat that's just the size of comics, and then that stat can be colored in by the colorist. That was the classic way. The pencils, the inks, the shrinking for the colorist, and then that color guide would go to the printer. And you can't do, you have to do it this size, because if you shrink color, it shifts. If you enlarge color, it shifts.
Right.
It gets denser if you shrink it. It gets lighter if you enlarge it. So it had to be to the size of the comic book. And that's why Bob Sharon out there, his color guides are going to be the same size as the comic book. They're going to be stats of the inks that were the blacks. And the blacks had to have that edge, those boundaries for the colorist to put the colors in. So
yeah,
that's how the classic method is. But now with digital coloring, that makes it even easier to do the coloring. And you could rasterize and pasteurize and do
homogenize,
homogeneity, and do your blacks, and just some guys just do pencils and darken them.
Sure.
And then they go to the colorist.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of different processes. I represent one of the best inkers in the business, Jay Leiston, and I sell his ink art, his pages. Now, some of them are going to be pencils and inks, especially the ones he does with one of his mainstay pencilers, Greg Land. Now, their combination has become really popular in the industry, and I just got a batch of Wolverine versus Predator pages, and people are digging those.
Sure.
Because
a lot of action, claws
out,
a lot of action.
So they always do their pencils and inks on paper, just like Scott Hanna does his pencils and inks with John Romita Jr. and Mark Bagley, because they want that secondary income.
Yes.
If they can get $5,000 for a cover,
let's do pencil and ink.
Let's do cover. Yeah,
you can always scan it in and finish it.
$20,000 for this whole issue, or more.
It would be silly not to pass that up.
Especially for Spider-Man, they want that secondary income. The people that make that lifestyle choice to do, I'm going to do this in a week instead of actually doing the work in a traditional manner, then they don't get the secondary income. That's that. I mean, even 15 years ago, I tried to do one-off prints, but it just doesn't. It's not the same thing.
So physical pencil and ink will always exist, is what you're telling me. Because
I would hope so, but there's probably a generation. We're a generation away from it
disappearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because now there's a lot of because of the global appeal of comics and people that are working in comics all the way to like India, because like Scott was telling me that he is doing Spider-Man India, right? And there's the creative team behind that is some Indian guys. I think they're Indian American, but they wanted a more Indian centric Spider-Man, and they'll do their digital pencils and then send Scott his the pages to do, and then Scott, because he wants to be able to sell them, he'll print them out and do them live on a live board. But that's called ink art only,
Right.
or blue lines. Now, a lot of collectors in the market of original art don't like blue lines, but instead of this page being $1,500, like that splash that I bought from him,
Yep.
it was $500.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
it's more economical in that sense, because the actual created.
Is that it right there?
Yeah.
You put it up?
Yeah,
Let's look
sure.
at it. Let's take a look at
We
it.
can look at it. This is some stuff I bought. This is a Scott Hanna
Yep.
Harley.
Quinn. Yep.
of Sharon, my wife. And then this is it's a Larry Hama, Baroness.
Yes.
And then here's the Spider-Man India 5, page 20 splash that I picked up from Scott. And I get, he's in India. And this, he says, is the first appearance of movie costume in Marvel.
Amazing.
So that's from the second movie,
Yeah.
the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
And that had 1,000 different Spider-Mans. And there were some breakout characters from the Spider-Verse, one of which being Spider-Man India and Spider-Punk. People love Spider-Punk.
Yes.
Yeah, Spider-Punk was another good one. So, well, never mind Miles being,
Right. There are a lot of them out there.
Miles himself has been, for me as a dealer, I've had stock that was just sitting there until like Daredevil was like pretty dead until that Netflix series came out and activated the collector market.
Sure.
Right.
And put Daredevil back on people's radars.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
But nothing in the Marvel universe, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, made more of a difference than Black Panther. Black Panther brought more people of color into collecting comics, and especially characters that look like me, not me, but African, African American,
Sure.
or
Yep.
African.
People they can relate to.
Well,
yeah.
he was African.
Yes.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever. But Wakanda Forever even resonated, through
different
Puerto
cultures, different
Ricans
races. Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
for different races. And that was absolutely fantastic for the collector market and for me in the business, because that activated those people into collecting, black character material.
Right.
And,
T'Challa.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So that made a big difference. And nothing will ever make more of a difference than that did.
Right.
So, yeah, I appreciate that very much.
Yeah. Amazing. And I mean, it's just cool. It's just cool stuff.
Yeah.
T'Challa, Wakanda, all that. Yeah.
And now here's an Indian guy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
East Indian guy, and trying to involve. And why not involve? There's a billion Indian people.
Yes.
Right, a billion plus Indian people
Right.
that want to see.
Someone that looks like them or they can relate to. Absolutely.
And you.
Yeah.
I mean, your favorite character on Walking Dead was
He's
Glenn.
Asian. Yeah, I did relate to him.
Well,
not only that, he did all the stuff nobody else wanted to do. Much like in my life, Walt, Brian, and Mike. There's a bunch of stuff they won't do. It's like, I got this.
Yeah,
I got this. You guys
Wow.
stop being idiots. I'll take care of this.
Yeah,
I say that all the time.
I think you're the breakout star from Comic Book Man.
I appreciate that, but you were on there 2.5 times, so.
Well, what about that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciated the opportunity and the exposure, and
Yeah, of course.
and I
Well, we
appreciated.
needed an original art
I
expert,
appreciated
and that was
raking
you.
in those staff poker tournaments that I.
Yeah, that's a whole.
Yeah,
nother
I stopped
podcast.
getting invited after I won a couple of them.
Well, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? So, back to the show. Do you have a lot of shows lined up? I'm lining up 2024. The industry is strong, but I have a lot of open weekends. So if you have a convention out there, I work cheap. I would love to come to your convention.
Yeah, you go to everywhere.
Yeah,
You
just hit me up on social
I'm
media.
in Chattanooga. I'm
Chattanooga
like,
was a
really?
great show. Chattanooga Comic-Con was an amazing show.
Yeah, it's
would
fun.
love to see you there one day.
I've driven through there.
Yeah, they'll be on their third show next year. But there are many shows out there that I haven't been to that I would like to go to, and there are a lot of shows that I have been to that I liked very much that I hope to be invited back to.
Yeah.
So,
Well, my issue is that I've been doing San Diego since 96, 97. That was that I actually set up.
Yep.
And I remember the first one I ever did. I had a portfolio of stuff, and somebody let me rent half a table.
Yep.
I had half a table, and that was my first presence. Two, I had 6 booths at one time, but I cut back.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah, I have 3 now in A still, and 2 across the hall in the art-centric area where the artists and Artist Alley are. And I have my high-end art over there, and I stay over there because I had a partially ruptured Achilles tendon at that show. I could barely walk. I couldn't get back and forth. So I have a big nut with the San Diego. It costs a lot. I've touched on that before.
Yeah, but it's San Diego.
It's San Diego. New York is a lot. Chicago.
Yep, C2E2 is a good one. Those are the ones I see you at. You do a few here and there.
Yeah,
local shows and smaller shows.
Well, the local shows, I'm sort of doing less and less.
Okay.
I mean, there's a streak of there's a show every weekend in this area. Yeah. It's like how can the collector market really support it?
Yeah.
So you have these promoters doing these shows, but it's like the budgets of the local collectors is spread pretty thin too. I think.
Well, there's a lot out there, my friend. There's a lot out there to collect, and you only have so many dollars. So.
There's a lot of choices. I do very well with my streaming shows and the reach of my website that's been up since 1998. So I've had an original art website up. I have one of the largest eBay businesses in the country.
Yep, check
that's
that
what
out.
People may not understand about my business is that I have a 10,000 square foot warehouse with 10 people working there every day, just to support my eBay store.
Yep. Yeah. Check that out. You got a lot of cool stuff up there.
Yeah. 150,000 plus listings.
Right.
And we, sell 100, 200, 300 things a day. So that's Anthony's Comic Book Art -online is my eBay store. So 150,000 plus listings, comic books, collectibles, magazines, books, anything that comes in, toys, a lot of toys. And then I have a small store in my hometown in Leonia, New Jersey, that I opened for my kids to work in, but they don't even work there anymore.
Yeah. But definitely check that out. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. You got a lot of 100% positive feedback. Look at that.
Yeah, that's
210,000 items sold.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And with, 88,000 right now?
Something. Oh, that you have online,
positive.
right?
No, the positives.
I mean, this is 10,000 in the last 12 months.
No, that's
the
12
year.
months.
Yeah. I don't know how to change it to lifetime.
Altogether. But I think it's like 88, 90,000 in that range.
Oh, no, 84,661.
Oh, 84,000.
That's crazy. You would think after all that you would have like 1 or 2, but no, none. No negative reviews.
Any negative I would get on eBay is somebody just trying to take advantage.
Sure.
They're just like, oh, this, we'll send out a 9.2 comic book, and they're like, oh, this wasn't a 9.2.
Right.
Oh, I'm good. Dingus.
Yeah.
But my percentages is such that I have to have, for it to affect my percentage, I don't know how many negatives but I have a customer service manager whose whole job is to fix, any issues he has with customers, because I believe, one of the things that separates me from the rest of the dealer types, when I left school, I'm Greek and Italian. That's my DNA, right? So what did I want to do? Open a restaurant.
Yes. Food.
It's part of your culture too.
Sure.
You have
Asians open a lot of restaurants.
A ton of Asian restaurants, and the Greek diner. And my dad we always went to the best restaurants. I always had an affinity for fine food. So I apprenticed as a chef. And I then opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was part of 5 different openings, and I was going to have my own restaurant as well, backed by this $1 billion hedge fund guy.
Yeah.
And he was going to build a building and give me the prime restaurant. I had to. It's all worked out. So, but the restaurant business is all about making customers and making sure you take care of them so that they come back.
Yes. So
Oh
same
my
thing here.
God.
Wow, what a concept.
What a concept.
What a concept.
It's completely foreign with most of my competition.
Yeah, go figure.
They just don't get it.
Go figure.
People come to me and said, "Yeah, I was just trying to do a deal with that guy, and he was really rude to me." Yeah.
I'm never going back, and I'm going to tell my friends they sucked. So yeah. So
I hear it a lot.
yeah, for sure.
You know, I can be. I'm not the most basically amiable guy in the world in person.
Okay.
I understand that.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm 6'3". I played
Football. Yes.
I love playing defense because I got to hit people.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not. And then, I have a really bad family history. I've had 4 brothers and sisters that have already passed away. And I'm basically not a happy person in that respect, except when I'm with my wife.
Right.
And you know my wife.
I do know your wife,
And,
Sharon. Yes.
And Sharon's my angel, and she is a basically happy person.
She's very happy. Yes.
So, and I've worked very hard in our relationship to keep her that way.
Right.
So, I need her around more and more to do PR and be nice to people.
That's why she's at your booth.
I just want to do the business.
Well,
It's
I
like,
like seeing
here,
her at her
you
booth.
want to give me $600 for this?
Yes. Yeah. No. All right. 575.
I'll give you
Okay.
$575. Okay,
575.
deal. Yeah, cash or
right.
card.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Venmo, PayPal, Zelle. Yes.
I'm all
that.
about the business at a show because, why is Anthony so grumpy? Anthony's grumpy because he's got to cover 30,000 at New York Comic Con.
Yes.
I got to cover 30,000 before I
but
start making money.
I can tell how well you're doing by your demeanor. Yes,
And I
so.
didn't relax at this year's Comic Con until I did a couple deals on
Yeah.
Sunday.
I know. I remember. When I came over, you looked way more relaxed. So that was
Yeah,
good.
it was Sunday that I did. Somebody came and got a $16,000 a piece for me.
Yeah.
We did a deal. I wanted 20, but
Hey.
and then somebody else made me an offer that I'm still trying to work out. So that on another piece about that size.
Yeah.
And that's still out. We haven't finished that off yet. But no, I mean, it was by Sunday that I got to that financial buoyancy where I could relax a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I was getting sick.
Right. But you powered through it, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
what you
had
do.
to. I
what
had
you
to.
do.
There's too
For
many
the-
people that rely on me. I mean,
I
when
know
you
the
have,
feeling, my
When you
friend.
have 20 people that you support, it's like it's no joke.
Yeah. But we
You
do
know,
it for the business, my
This
friend.
is the business.
business
and
of
I'm like,
comics.
I had a guy. It's fun. It was kind of. It shows you like he did a deal on time payments. He owed me $3,000, and he sent me a check early. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad I could get it in your hands earlier. I'm like, in my hands? It's already gone.
Yeah, right.
I need that in my payroll account to cover payroll this
Yeah,
week.
exactly.
Yeah, very little goes in my hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
So all right. So the business is good. You're happy with things are going. most
I'll
part?
be happy when the economy turns around a little bit and we experience a little more growth and it's a shame what's going on in the Middle East
Oh,
and
sure.
we're in a shooting war again over there.
Yeah.
And everybody's about not escalating and de-escalating and but it's like it's tough out there.
Yeah. Well,
we
we have an
just hope
escape.
that,
we have an escape in in the books.
We don't get drawn into a bigger regional conflict.
Yeah.
So-
And I'm hoping. Yeah, when the economy picks up, we all win out, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully. Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of the economy, I'm gonna get back out to the comic. We got another hour left, so. But
Yeah, you got to sell another naked picture of yourself wearing a
half
little
naked
slip.
It's a Speedo, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's an orange Speedo. Hey man, talking about the business of comics.
Yeah,
that one does.
I've done some.
That one's well. Yeah, you've been in states of undress.
undress and yeah. I've
That's what
done
we do
my-
for content. So
Whirlies. It is content.
Let me put these up here. Anthony'sComicBookArt.com. Also, Dueling Dealers of Comic Book Art every Wednesday live at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
And follow at Anthony's Comic Book Art.
And I'm actually doing a sports talk show with Pepper Johnson, the former Giant and New England defensive coach, on Tuesdays.
Wow, you're a content creating machine, my friend. So that's awesome.
Well, that's the thing. I became this brand of, or this seller, and built this business to sell comics and art and collectibles. But there was a time, seventh grade, comics stopped for me as far as my background. Sure. I'll be quick about this. And I started playing team sports. So I started playing football and basketball, and I loved basketball. I played basketball every day. So when I grew to like 6'3", I became very athletic, especially for football. And I was a really good basketball athlete, and I was actually recruited by Coach K at Duke and Steve Spurrier.
Right.
So I had
legends.
Yeah, they weren't legends yet because I'm kind of old. I'm almost 60.
Okay.
So yeah, this was 1982 when I was coming out, but I had scholarship offers to Duke basketball and Florida football, and so I became a jock, and then. That ran its course, and I cracked a vertebrae in my neck in football, and that kind of ended me. And I just couldn't stay in school. I was a horrible student. And that's when I went into the restaurant business, and then gradually I met Mike Carbonaro, unfortunately, or fortunately, but he did get me involved in the business in the early 90s, and it grew from there.
That's all another podcast. So
yeah. With the creatures that we've had to deal with, the horror shows. Anyway, so my sports, I'm a sports guy. I am a sports guy. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow with the Jets and Giants. I'm a lifelong Giants fan, and my business is in the shadow of Giants Stadium or MetLife, and we're looking forward to that. So that's just an aside as far as like my sports talk, because my dad was a sports broadcaster and a very famous one. And he was the first guy to ever pick games on TV. Now they have, anybody, everybody.
Yeah. Everyone makes predictions.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like, they do 20 people. There's a pregame show that's got 7 people. Then there's a pregame show that's got 5 or 6 people, and they're all picking, and they're having the guy who mops the floors picked, and they're all like under 500.
Right.
But I'm going to start doing picks on the show, but they're all going to be about what I would put my own money on.
Would make sense. And then you either live or die by that.
Yeah, get customers, be nice to customers, try to give good customer service, and only give picks that I would bet on. Right. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So that's the story of Anthony, and thank you so much for taking this time with me.
Of course, man.
Mr. Ming, the Merciless.
Of course, man. Always good to see you.
So, it's a pleasure. You're a great host. You've really done well with this, and I wish your business, anybody out there that needs some advice about podcasting, come to the Shared Universe.
Yep, Shared Universe, right?
Here at the Bellworks.
Yep, for sure. So we'll see you at the cons, everybody, and buy original art. Support original art. Buy it because it's awesome. We'll see you soon, everybody.